On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, OU linebacker Danny Stutsman joins us for an interview, and we cover a lot. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, August 2nd, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games, with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options in the month of August, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, simply the best. Now, we're recording this several days in advance, but Ted, it's August. It's here. Training camp. Let's go.
Training camp, man. It's time to get it rolling. It's going to be on us, and I can't wait to get out there and see what the guys have. You know, it's going to be my hope anyways is that it's going to be several rungs on the ladder above where we were last year at this time.
Yeah, and over these next several episodes, we'll dive into things we're looking at closely in training camp, some of these position battles. Like, we'll get into all that, but honestly, I'm just excited. I'm excited for this team to be able to move on from last year.
Yeah.
Right. There's been so much discussion. These guys have just been beat down by the disappointment that was 2022 and going 6-7. And now they've got an opportunity to prove what they're all about. And it starts with training camp. So I'm fired up to see what this team is going to be made of.
Yep. Same. Yeah, I imagine even if they are not saying it, I think this team's going to be headed into this season with a massive chip on the shoulder.
Yeah. Now, we do have one birthday shout out. Happy birthday to Murray McMurray.
Nice.
How about that name?
I love it.
Happy birthday. But with training camp getting going, who better to talk to than what I consider the voice of the football team, right? Yeah. Do you agree with that? I mean, I think that is the role that Danny Stutsman has kind of taken on for this roster.
Yep. And what's impressive about that? Just going into his junior year.
Yeah.
Right. So he's been, all of that was tossed on him maybe before he was ready for it a year ago, but after fighting through last season, you could see the difference in his play at the end of the year, and I think he's going to take it and run with it this year.
Yeah. And don't you worry, people. We do talk about Teddy criticizing him last year. It's pretty good. All right, here he is. Here's Danny Stutsman. It is our pleasure to be joined by the star linebacker of the Oklahoma Sooners. I don't know what is going on top of his head, but the guy can play. Danny Stutsman is in the house. What's going on, dude?
Wow, kind of a shot. You didn't tell me that was coming, but finally good to be on the podcast, man. Really appreciate it.
Did you get a flip? Is that flip worthy? Is that long enough to?
I'm not going to answer that question.
Explain it. What is going on?
I'm not answering that. Well, pretty much, it was kind of growing out. I got really straight hair, like can't do much with it. So, I got a perm on it, something not too crazy. And then while I was doing it, I like bleached it or I got some tips on it. But you guys are laughing, but like low-key, like Gavin Freeman gets a perm, like Jaron Kanik. So like I'm not the only one on the team. Peter Shue.
I'm not laughing. I'm smiling. I think it looks
I can keep
good
it going. I can keep it going, but it's something different, got to change it up the look here and there, Teddy didn't really have that option. So
wow.
I'm blessed.
No. Options are pretty limited for me. I can go with like the shave or the bowl, and I go with the shave.
I would like to see Ted with the bowl. I
Yeah.
think you should do it just once, just so we can see it, Ted.
Go ahead and grow it out. Yeah. Maybe we'll do that.
The bowl and the beard combo for you that'd be a strong look.
How about this? Like, should I do it if as long as the winning streak goes? Like we start off the season winning, I just let the hair go.
Let's do that. That's a good plan.
I like it. Now, Danny. Obviously, there's a lot to talk about, man. But you guys you're wrapping up summer workouts. How I know this is a simple question that probably requires a complicated answer, but how has summer been for you?
Personally, it's been really good, kind of stepping into a bigger leadership role. So especially with a lot of new guys coming in, it's been really good, trying to get to learn the new guys coming in, then start teaching them the playbook. And that's been a one thing. And then kind of just leading the defense as a whole, kind of setting up like retreats, doing film sessions with the guys, setting up walkthroughs with the entire defense and kind of just holding everyone to that standard. And obviously, I'm not the only one doing that. There's a lot of guys that are stepping up and emerging as leaders, which is awesome to see. And player-led culture is a big thing with Coach V and Coach Smitty. And, for myself, it's been really good, just working on my craft every day, kind of expanding my knowledge of the defense, and pretty much of offenses as well. And I think it's been a great and efficient summer.
What about for you physically? Like whenever you finished last season, and I know there's a lot of football stuff to get into, like learning the defense and all of that, but just for you physically, were there any goals throughout winter and summer that you were trying to hit? And if so, did you accomplish it?
Get bigger. That's just one thing. I've put on some weight, I'm around 240. I know, I'm trying to get 2 more pounds because, at fall camp, you kind of lose a little bit here and there. But, in terms of the weight room, I think this is definitely the strongest I've ever been. I'm exclusively with Schmitty. Like, there's the strength coaches who do work, and then there's Schmitty who does, it's a little bit different when you're working out with him.
The rite of passage whenever he calls you down to his platform, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that's
the worst, dude.
Everyone gets done with their workout, and because we lift and then we run. Everyone finishes the workout, and we'll probably have 3 more exercises. And it just because it takes longer. He doesn't go off the card. Everyone, the strength coaches have a card that tells you what we're doing. Schmitty's card is up here. So some things get and it's we never do less. So some things go off the brain. It's it'll say 3 by 3. We'll do 4 by 10, and and so it just takes longer. They get a 20-minute break, and we're just finishing up, and then go right to running. But no, I've definitely because honestly, going into it in high school, I was benching the most. Before I hurt my shoulder, benching 315 for 3 or 4. And I haven't really got up to that weight now. And then with Schmitty, I'm 330 for 8. So it's kind of a drastic improvement that I haven't been able to get to before. So it's going to be good to be healthy in the shoulders. As a linebacker, that's big. And it's been a tremendous offseason for sure.
So people love the horror stories when it comes to this Schmitty summer workouts, and you'll realize this when you get together with guys you've played down the line. That's all you talk about. You really don't end up talking about the games or anything like that. It's always workout stories that guys are kind of reminiscing about. So what's been the worst one, right? What's been the one where I remember there's a couple where you're like, man, I may die today. It is in play. So what's been the worst one this summer for you?
Man, so I think early on is usually when it happens, because a lot of guys aren't really expecting it. And I'm kind of prepared. I feel like I'm a really good runner. I've always said, if I could do anything, I feel like I could do long distance running. But there was one workout. It was we ran, we did the workout. We had a circuit, in kind of that, the turf field outside the weight room, had a 5-6 station circuit, and that was tough. It was all sorts of stuff. I remember Lewis Carter had this is one of his first workouts back. He's he has a huge smile on his face. All the freshmen are excited. They're finally able to work out, just got cleared. He has a huge smile on his face. I'm like, dude, what are you smiling at? What are you He's like, what do you mean? Like, let's get to work. And like after the first drill, like the first rep, he was like, doing really good. The second rep, he's exhausted. Like we had to pull like those the pop-up dummies. We had to like pull it backwards like 30 yards or something like that. And like already after a big leg day. And so he's like exhausted. I'm like, where you at, Lewis? Like, where's the smiles now? And then after all that, then we had to go on the field and run like half gassers. And so no, like we thought it was just gonna be like people thought it was just gonna be the stations. And then Schmee was like, all right, let's jog over to the practice field and then run over. And so that got a lot of people going. But it's good being in the first group because like you don't know what's coming. Cause like and everyone asks you the questions. And so like I feel like it's better to not know what you're getting yourself into because then you're kind of overthinking it. So attack what's coming.
Yeah, that was always funny. It's like espionage, trying to figure out what the other groups on campus have done before you go. That's pretty funny. You mentioned Lewis Carter. It's wild how the linebacker room has totally changed since you've been there, and you find yourself now where really the only guy there that's played any real meaningful snaps of big time football. What's it like in that room? You're the leader, you're the guy in there, but there's a lot of really good athletes.
Oh, absolutely. It's kind of like we were saying, the dynamics kind of changed. It's kind of like a blink of an eye. I was that freshman, really determined to get on there, start, kind of learning the game. But it's pretty cool. We got a lot of, having guys like Connor Neer and like Shane Witter that have Shane's been here a little bit, and then Connor's played a lot of ball. So they kind of bring that experience into the meeting room, into the LB room. And then just a lot of young guys that are really, really hungry, super talented dudes that, they're linebackers, man. Like, Phil Pachotti, you look at that guy, that's a typical 2000s Brent Venables linebacker, man. And it's great to have someone like that. Jaron and Kobe are both hungry, man. Like there's always that competition between them two. And then, the young guys, Taylor, Sammy, Lewis, and man, it's great to see how much talent they have, man. They came in day one, they looked way better than I did coming in. So it's exciting to see them. And then Kip Lewis too, he's gonna be great. He's putting that weight on, getting bigger, faster, stronger. And the dynamic of the room is great. Young kids just hungry, ready to soak up knowledge and be that sponge when Coach Venables is teaching.
How, as the leader in the room, how do you guys balance the competition piece and the camaraderie piece? Right there's a fine balance there, right? You guys all want to be on the field. Everyone wants to start, right? That's the, that's how you guys are wired. But how do you balance that while also bringing the group closer together?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's there's always competition, but like at the end of the day, we're family, like we're brothers. We're always hanging out, always together. So you kind of know like it just comes from a different place. Like we know everyone's like not so much looking out for themselves. And so that's just what you need in an LB room. Everyone knows like, look, our reps are going to come, our time's going to come. You got to do what you got to do. You get better and you just got to compete. And at the end of the day, it's whoever wants it the most.
Yeah. Yeah. You've always been one of the emotional leaders on the team. Hell, I remember your freshman year when you go out there, one of your first games, you got the elbows all jacked up and you're running around screaming out on the field, wanting to keep playing. So you've always been that guy. But now, the role's a little bit different. And I feel like you kind of got thrown into that last year, and it's hard in a new system. It's hard to lead whenever you really don't know what you're doing, right? Mm-hmm. So it can be difficult out there on the field. Like how more comfortable are you now than you were this time last year as far as being in the system, knowing how to make checks, knowing how to tell maybe the guy that's behind you where he needs to fit, what his keys are? How much better is that?
I mean, absolutely. Especially, last year going into it, kind of learning a new system but beginning from when Coach Venables got there in the winter to up until halfway through fall camp, I was playing Mike linebacker. And that's a lot to learn. So I was only learning Mike. And then kind of week into it, we're going to move you to Will. So then I'm having to learn the entire playbook again at Will linebacker. And so I think it kind of, you kind of go into it not really knowing exactly what you're doing. You're learning the playbook, just learning what your position specifically. And so when you get into games, it's kind of challenging to, play fast when you're kind of doubting yourself because you're not too sure on the run fits, pass responsibilities. And I think it's hard to lead when you're making like mistakes like that. And so I think as time goes on, I can pinpoint it kind of back to the Iowa State game when like, all right, I know what I'm doing now. Like I feel more comfortable in the system. I'm ready to, step it up. And, that just goes from, getting on the sideline and encouraging, the D line because we're all in different tents. So, there's a play that doesn't go wrong, like going over there, like, hey, we're good. Let's bounce back and kind of just being able to lead more because now you're confident within your system. You know what you're doing. You're not just someone who's trying to pick it up on the go. And so I think, last year was a blessing for me, being specifically on my second year, learning a whole new playbook and being able to start every 13 games was awesome for me. I think, as a player, that's an opportunity that doesn't happen often. And so now being able to have that experience under my belt going into my junior year, I'm blessed to have that. I know what it looks like. I know there's been dudes. Now we brought in so many guys that know what it looks like as well that have taught me and, given me so much experience from their days that, I feel like I'm 1,000 times more confident than I was last year. And then especially in the playbook now that, last year I learned my position. Now I know everyone else's position. I know what the D line in front of me is doing. I know where my free safety is going to be at. I know when the corners and the run fit. And that just it makes me like play faster, play more fluent. I know when I'm the spill player, know when I'm the lever player. There's no second guessing. And Teddy, you can play a lot more downhill. You can play a lot more physical when you know exactly what you're doing.
Now, a big part of playing linebacker at a high level is what the D line in front of you is doing. What have you seen from that group? I know there's a lot of new faces, right? You think about Rondell Bothroyd, the interior guys, Trace Ford. Like there's a lot of new guys that are factoring in, but also some familiar faces. What have you seen from that defensive line group in the offseason?
Kind of looking at it, I think I work out with the interior D linemen. They're in Schmitty's rat group, and so it's good for me also to be pushing. They push me in that weight room, but I see a lot of guys stepping up, which was kind of something last year that wasn't really there. I think, but now like as I'm looking at it, I think Jordan Kelly, Isaiah Coe, and then Dejon Terry. Those are three guys that really emerged as kind of leaders in that room. And I mean, we're so deep there, there's great players all over the place. And being able to have like that leadership at the D line, someone that's holding like the whole defense accountable, because like, those are pretty much the anchor points. They're the one taking on the double teams, making it free for the linebackers to make plays. And it's great to see. And then on the defensive ends, man, we're deep in that room as well. You see, Rondell, like you said, Adepudju, Ethan Downs, Reggie Grimes, especially a guy like Trace Ford as well. Like there's so much talent in that D line. I think compared to last year, it just like, it was kind of splotchy, but they're ready to go, man. They're hungry. And, like I said, they have that experience as well. So they know how to do the stunts, that weren't so much 2 years ago. And they kind of have that under their belt now.
We'll get you back to the interview. But first, Love's Travel Stops is now offering a nationwide 10-cent per gallon discount on gas and auto diesel. Just download the Love's Connect app and scan your barcode at the prompt on screen and watch the price drop 10 cents per gallon. Across the country, the Love's Connect app unlocks exclusive deals and can help any traveler plan their route or meal on the highway. So before you hit the road, be sure to download the Love's Connect app to save 10 cents per gallon and experience the country's best highway hospitality at Love's Travel Stops. Love's also have you covered if you forget your phone charger or headphones with their expanded mobile to-go zone. And of course, don't forget to grab yourself some of that delicious Java Amore.
Opolis Clothing is the exclusive home for all of our Oklahoma Breakdown merchandise and is the best place to get your OU and OKC Thunder gear as well. If you want to live your life in better self-comfort, go to opolisclothing.com. That's OPOLIS clothing.com. Use promo code TED, TED, for 10% off your entire order. It's opolisclothing.com. Use promo code TED for 10% off. Buttery soft and 10% off.
And hey, you hungry out there? Well, then head to the garage for hand smashed patties, butter toasted buns, and ice cold beer. Their food is fantastic, and it is the perfect spot to watch any big game. Visit eatatthegarage.com to find a location near you and order online from the garage in your neighborhood. All right, back to the interview.
Can you tell the difference? I know you guys, I don't know how much you do some football stuff during the summer.
Mhm.
Can you just tell there's a difference in like the first group whenever you're out there compared to a year ago? Like, is it noticeable to you, like how far ahead the group is, or is there maybe a couple of guys that are ahead and then there's a couple of guys that are still maybe lagging a little bit behind, trying to bring it up? Like, kind of just how do you compare levels?
Well, I think a good indication is kind of on when we do team runs. When we're having to, I know the big guys don't like that stuff, but when you look at the body language and you look at how they're moving, I mean, it's night and day compared to last year. Those guys are up there, competing. They aren't getting tired, dude. They're in shape. Now I lifted Jordan Kelly and Dejon Terry, man, dude, they're strong, man. It's great to see. And then, we get out there, we're not really in pads yet, so you don't really know too much. But I can tell, man, their technique from Coach Bates, having another year of his teaching, it's going to be amazing, man.
So you have become, and there's always, the quarterback piece of things, right? Just naturally, the quarterback is one of the leaders of the team. And I think that DG he's become more comfortable in that role. But when I look at this football team, like, you're kind of the voice of the team, right? And it comes with your personality. You're an outspoken guy. You enjoy doing that type of stuff. So with you serving that role, like, how much pressure do you feel personally to make sure that this defense is playing at a higher level this season compared to a year ago?
I mean, there's pressure every year. There was pressure last year, but it definitely increases. It's something that I'm willing to take on, ready to put it on my back. If something goes wrong, I want to be the first dude that says it's my fault. And that's just something you can't talk so much about. You just got to be about it. And so that's just something that it comes with the role. I'm excited to take it on, and I know that we're going to live up to all the hype.
I do have to mention this in Gabe's right. The personality is a big factor in it. My wife did the women's clinic, and she came back and she's like, "Who's the Stutsman guy?" I was like, "What do you mean, who's the Stutsman guy? He's the best linebacker we've got. He's the leader of the defense." She's like, "That's my favorite player." So you got a new fan from the women's clinic and my wife. She made sure that I knew that, and I was supposed to tell you today. So Gabe reminded me of that.
Well, that's a tremendous honor right there.
Did she mention about any of the stuff you said about his play last year and how everyone blew it up and went after Stutsman because of it? Did she mention that either?
What did I say?
I'm just saying.
I said, go ahead.
You go ahead. You know what you
said
better than I did.
I thought your last 4 games last year were completely night and day from the beginning of the season.
100%.
It wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
And you said the Iowa State game. I'm trying to remember what game that may have been the game. I can't remember, but like the beginning of the season compared to the end of the season last year was night and day. And you felt that too, right?
Oh, 100%. I think you got to have tough critics in your corner. At the end of the day, I know you're all for me. So it's good to have, people kind of, take it out of context. But, those words, it kind of fuels me, especially when someone I respect, says, I need to improve. I'm making too many mistakes. And that's just what it is. End of the day, it's not just some Sooner fan that doesn't know football. So when you're out there, you see it, what the defense looks like. I take that to heart. I know what I need to improve upon. So it's not like just some some chitter chat or whatever. But absolutely,
I'm going to write that down. The more shit I talk, the better he plays.
Yes,
we know the formula now, right?
Noted.
No, but absolutely, man. I think at the beginning of the year, that it's kind of like you're kind of just running around making plays. You're kind of just you're not too confident in the system. You're going, especially with Coach Venables' defense. Every week you're kind of learning a new playbook. Because how he does it. You're always installing new plays, and I think. Now there's nothing really I can't see. I could see it, and kind of understand it. Last year it took me a while, and that's just because you kind of figure out that just defense is the same. It's just a matter of what puzzle piece goes where. And last year I think it took me a while to figure that out and pick that up, and then I think it clicks and it slows down. That's what I'm building upon now, where it's it's the game's faster, but it's so much slower for me.
It kind of evolves. You go from you're only thinking about yourself, like, where do I fit? Am I in the right place? Where do I line up? And then slowly it's like, all right, I'm in the right place. Is my other backer in the right spot? Where's the safety? And before long, you're not even thinking about that. You're just thinking about the offense and the down and distance and what's coming. And you could tell it's exactly what happened with you. And the speed just picks up from there.
Absolutely. And then in terms of alignment, which is a point I want to cover because I know that's a big one. But I kind of understand what Coach Venables is saying, because when you have that call side A gap, but that nose guard has to cross face, and so you want to position yourself backside to protect him just in case he doesn't make the trip. That where you can cover his gap. That's why you got to be just a few inches over. Just so you're the perfect place where the guard has to combo up to you, but then you can fall back and kind of free up a defensive lineman for yourself.
Look at him. Look at him growing up right in front of our eyes, Ted.
Inches matter. Inches matter.
Inches, feet, a step here, a step there. It all matters, baby. As
football's a game of inches, man.
That's right. Now, when you look at the expectations coming into the season, and I've had so many people ask me, I've been on different podcasts, different radio shows, like, hey, the expectation is to win the Big 12 and to go to the playoff. That's always the expectation when you play at Oklahoma. Is that something you guys talk about as players, or is it all just, are you guys all just focused on, getting to your best level? Like what is this discussion leading up to training camp, leading up to the season been like amongst the players?
Yeah, I think the coaches usually talk about the Big 12, winning the national championship. That just goes without being said. Every single player in the country is going to say they want to win their conference, they want to play in the college football playoff. But I think especially for the defense, we got to improve. I think we're like the 122nd ranked defense in the country, that's piss poor at the end of the day. And especially under Coach Venables' defense, he's a mastermind. I think he's given us all the cards and he's given us all the tools, and we should go out there and execute. I think, now we're seeing the players hold up to that standard where, the coaches aren't coaching, it's the players coaching. And I think, that's going to transition very well into the season where we know we got the goal is top 5 defense. That's what we look for. That's what we want to do. We got to set our mind to it and, make that come to fruition.
Who are some of the guys you think are maybe poised for a big year? Maybe some of the names that people don't hear about as much on the defense, D-line, it could be any position.
Well, I think an easy one's going to be Billy Bowman. Off the top of my head, seeing really Billy Bowman, Key, Reggie Pearson, the way those safeties have been working, it's been phenomenal. Even, a young guy like Peyton Bowen, the hype is real with that kid. It comes so easy for him, man. Like the way he moves, the way he picks up the playbook, it's very easy for him. I think, Woody Washington, he's been here, man. He's a leader. That's a dude you want at corner. He's going to lock down whatever receiver they throw at him. And really at that D line, I love Jordan Kelly, and Dijon Terry. Those are 2 guys I work out with. I see, we have a thing, us 3, the entire offseason doing 1 extra rep. We're told to do 5, do 6. That's 1% better every single time. That's exponential growth right there. And really, I think, Rondell is going to have an amazing year. That's a dude, Brent, coming from Wake Forest, and that's a tremendous piece for us. Young guys like Adepaju, PJ, they're tremendous weapons for us. Trace Ford, that's a dude who has so much experience, coming in, man. We're talking about, playing out against Oklahoma, and he was, talking about Spencer Rattler and stuff like that. I guess he had a sack on him, but, it's cool to have a guy like that, with us, man. He's a great kid. And really in the linebacker room, I can literally name every single one, bro. I think we're the hardest working group out there, which will really have to be under Coach Venables' defense. All the pressures on the linebackers. So all those dudes are ready to work. And obviously, Deshaun McCullough gets a lot of hype. I don't need to say anything else about that. He's legit, man. But
does he have a shot? Like, who do you think ends up at the Cheetah? What are we going to see there?
Man, it could go either way, man. Justin Harrington's had a tremendous year. Obviously, I don't know how fall camp goes. I think that whole line, whoever those 3 linebackers could really be anyone, man. I wouldn't be surprised who starts, man, because there's so many dudes that really want it, man. They're really hungry. It's just a matter of, who executes the defense, who executes the calls. But Deshaun and Justin, have a lot of competition, man. It's good to see.
Now, clearly you're focused on getting the defense right? But who's kind of stood out to you on the offense? Right. Who are a couple guys where you've been like, okay, Dan, this guy, he's making a jump. Like he's gonna
Gavin
be
Freeman.
something this season.
Gavin Freeman. Buy those stocks right now.
Is
That's a
that why you
dude.
switched your hair to
Yeah,
look like him?
I want to be just like him, man. That's a dude right there, man. I think just his story is incredible, man. That's Gavin's gonna be a dude, and I think Andrell as well. That's a trailblazer outside, and obviously the dude I came in with Jalil Farouk, especially receiver, and then that running back room. We're deep, man. Another young room, but man, the hardest dude to tackle, Tawi Walker, man, doesn't get a lot of credit, but that's a bowling ball right there. And obviously, Thunder and Lightning, Javante Barnes and Gavin Sawchuk are right there with them, man. And so it's awesome to have that good linebacker room, that good running back room that really pushes the LBs. And that offensive line is gonna be good too, man. They're deep. Beanbo's gonna get them right. And so you having a dude like Tyler Guyton, kind of step up from last year, losing Anton and Wanye, but I mean he's ready for that role. And then my guy, Big Savion Bird, number 54. That's my dude, man. I know he's stepped up to a big role, but he's ready for it.
Thought Gabe was going to ask follow up. How heavy is Savion Bird? Is he putting on weight?
He got too light, man. He got too light.
Yeah, man. He's put on weight, man. He's getting right, man. But he's light, but he's strong, man. That's one of the strongest dudes I know. That's one thing.
Who is the strongest guy on the team?
That's tough. I want to say I don't really see the offense lift much, but I think probably Jordan Kelly right now.
Yeah. How about Lu'ulu's pretty strong too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean that whole D line, man. Those are all dudes that move weight, and a lot of people. But Devon Sears, that man can squat. He's got some quads on him, man. He can move weight under that bar.
That's good. Quarterback. What have you seen? I know, it's going to be a big year for Dylan Gabriel coming back. Like, can you tell that the whole thing with him, it was tough. You have to be the leader at quarterback. It's just the nature of the position. And he was kind of thrown into it as a transfer. You got to show up and learn a system, and you're kind of thrust into a leadership role without kind of gaining it organically. And just, it didn't feel like it was, or didn't maybe look like it was as comfortable. Can you tell a difference in him this year?
Absolutely. I mean, especially with the transfer portal now, that's kind of the situation for a lot of quarterbacks. But Dylan, he's improved so much of the leadership role. I think really like, the team's all for him, man. And he's a great person. He does everything right off the field where it's so easy to, trust him and, follow him on the field. And, he's a great player, man. It's so hard, the way he can look off a receiver, look off a linebacker and then just dish it down to a receiver last second. I was talking to him about it. He knows if he's looking one way, as soon as you take that one step, he knows the receiver on the back, so he doesn't have to look. He can make that throw literally without looking at, which is something that's really special. But at the end of the day, Dylan has that room, man. He has the team.
Now I promise you, I'm not trying to get you to say anything controversial, and we're not going to just take this clip and put it out and cause a scene on OU Twitter. But what have you seen from Jackson Arnold? Like, what has stood out to you so far? I mean, obviously, extremely talented, very highly recruited. Like, what have you seen from him?
Yeah, I mean, that man can really throw the rock, man. The way he can flick that wrist, man. His deep balls, man, look so nice, man. When he's throwing them, man, just the way they're in the air, it's like you're staring like a little kid looking up at them, the way they're spinning. But he's super talented. He's good on his feet, which is really nice to see. You wouldn't expect it, but the man can run, and that's one thing that's really, really cool to see. Kind of sleep on him, but he's learning. He's picking up well. Obviously, I'm not on the offensive side. I don't know, what they're doing over there, but the dude can really play.
We'll get you back to the interview, but first,
Bishop McGuinness Catholic High School represents a tradition of educational excellence in Oklahoma City. Grounded in a faith-based education, students prepare to meet their potential with an individualized academic path that strives for success. Bishop McGuinness offers a college prep curriculum that includes 22 AP courses, participation in OSSAA athletics, where they've won over 100 state championships, and numerous clubs and organizations for students to join and grow. If you want to provide the best possible educational and spiritual development for your children, Contact Bishop McGinnis Catholic High School or visit bmchs.org. Financial aid is available.
And attention, business owners, you need Insurica in your life. Insurica is one of the country's largest insurance brokers with 30 offices throughout Oklahoma, Texas, and the Southwest. Insurica is able to customize programs by accessing the latest information from many insurance carriers. They compare and contrast coverage offerings and pricing in order to design a cost-effective, comprehensive program to meet your business's specific needs. Insurica's clients become best-in-class businesses by working with Insurica's team of advisors to manage risk. Purchasing insurance is only one way to protect your business. Best-in-class businesses win by avoiding a loss in the first place. If your business partners with Insurica, you'll save huge amounts of money and take back control of your total cost of risk. I'm an Insurica client, and you should be too. If your business wants to be best in class, connect with Insurica at Insurica.com. That's INSURICA.com. All right, back to the interview.
You guys ever talk about like the all Big 12 list and the preseason list and how didn't have very much representation on there? Is that a talking point within the team?
I get asked that sometimes, but I think at the end of the day, it's a preseason list for a reason. It literally holds no value, no weight, and I guess it's fuel to the fire.
Yeah, he's pissed. You can tell.
That's good.
I mean, you should be. You lead the team, or you lead the conference in tackles a year ago, and you're not on the all Big 12 preseason team. Now, you were on mine, if that makes you feel any better.
Appreciate that.
Now, I forgot to send mine into the league office, but you were on mine. So maybe if I would have sent mine in, you would have been there.
You would have been on mine if I got to vote, but I don't get to vote.
I think at the end of the day, I'm kind of used to being an afterthought. You lead the Big 12, and I'm just an honorable mention, which is fine to me. I look at that every single day. It's my wallpaper. But I've been doubted a lot in my life, so I enjoy that.
What
are your goals though? Is that one of your goals? Like personal, I know the team goals, win your conference, all that stuff. What's your personal goals for the season?
Man, I want to do everything I can to be one of those select few that win a Butkus at Oklahoma. I think, you do a workout, you get under that bar, that's what something you think about every rep, every time you do anything.
It's not that hard, right, Ted?
Yeah, it's not that hard.
Well, you got to have the rest of the team play really well to win it, man. That's one of the things. Like those awards, they're individual awards, but it's really a team thing, man. You have to play really good team defense to be on those lists. That's just kind of how it is. And I know that's a challenge for you guys, and you're deep on the defensive line, like you talked about. Secondary's good. Back, like you guys have the tools. It's just coming together, right? I mean, that's kind of it, just pulling all the pieces together.
Absolutely. And another personal goal, I think, I know Lance Mitchell, he's an analyst for us. He's obviously a tremendous player at Oklahoma, but every day, every time he sees me, he kills 19 because he had 19 TFLs. And that's something that's kind of been a perfect kind of goal for mine, 20, so I can shut him up. But it's good to have something like that motivate us, man.
That's good. 20, you get to. If you have 20 tackles for loss, you'll be on the Butkus list for sure.
Yeah,
that's the plan.
Now, what's it like for you? You've got Ted Roof and BV. Like those are the guys you're dealing with all the time. You got the head coach, you got the defense coordinator, right? And those guys are always working together. Like, what's that dynamic like for you guys in the backer room?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Venables is obviously a character, and then Coach Roof is also a character. So, but they're kind of opposites, which is really nice to have, kind of someone like Coach V who's always, always going at it, and then kind of Coach Roof who's, he can turn it up, but it's good to have him, kind of on the other side of it, and it's really good for us, man. Those are guys that Coach, people don't know, but Coach Roof was a Hall of Famer at Georgia Tech. The dude had 25 tackles against Tennessee. The dude if he talks about tackling Bo Jackson and Herschel Walker, like if that's someone that's experienced, man, players are going to listen to him. And so that's someone who has game experience, has done it before, probably one of the best, man. And so having him and Coach Venables, man, the linebackers here are truly blessed, man. There's so much knowledge that can be learned, and you just really got to bring a pen and pencil every day, a pen and paper every day to really just jot down so much information that comes from them, man. And it's really a blessing, man. There's so much to learn from those two guys.
Did they ever break out the film? You ever seen any of the film of Coach Roof running around out there?
Man, I've tried to find some stuff. But it's how it was back in the day. They don't make VHS tapes no more.
They used to have. Coach Venables brought some of his film into our meeting room one time back in the day, whenever he was at Kansas State, and I gotta say, like, it was because he was like 250 pounds, which is crazy to even think about. And it was funny to see him run around out there. I was like, okay, I came in here prepared to give you a bunch of shit, but it actually looks pretty good.
See, that's one. So when we watch your film, like we have all the old guys, we watch, certain blitzes and how it's done. It's like, it's on the cut ups. Yeah, it's fine. But it's in the shittiest quality of all time. Where like, it literally looks like, well, is that how it looked when you guys watched it? Like, or was it like just the way it's transferred?
It's hard to say. Like, I don't like whenever everything looks like that, I guess you don't think of it as being in terrible quality, but it wasn't high definition. That's for sure.
Gotcha.
It's weird. It's like, it's almost like that era. It was like the transition from everything going from like on tape to on like computer. And it's like there's so much kind of lost in transition between the two for some reason.
Gotcha. Just making sure, because I was like, there's no way they used to watch film like this, man. This is brutal.
No, I'll tell you, whenever I would go in and watch film on my own, it wasn't on the computer. So they had all these tapes sitting there. You'd have like the third down tape. You'd have, every individual run would have a tape. Every situation, you have short yardage and goal line tape. So every week there was a huge new, just gigantic pile of VHS tapes you had to dig through.
Man, we've gotten to the point where on my computer, I can sign into the computer upstairs and like see that screen onto this screen right here. And I can just watch it from my computer at home and have all the tape from the facility there, which is insane.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good.
I think the takeaway from that discussion is Ted is getting old.
Yes, very
getting old. Now, Danny, there's been a lot of excitement and discussion around the SEC move in 2024 and the schedule that came out, right? How did you guys handle that, right, within the locker room, right? Because clearly you're focused on having a good 2023, but it is exciting. And there's a bunch of guys on this roster that are still going to be here when that rolls around.
Oh yeah. I mean, you can't see that schedule not get excited, man. Those are some games that are once in a lifetime opportunities. And to have like a lot of those games, like going to LSU, having Alabama here, having Tennessee here, man, you can't be, as a competitor, like you cannot like be more happy. And like, I think that just has to elevate your play. And I think that's what Oklahoma needs to take it to the next level. Like that competition week in, week out, where you're playing the best of the best. Like that's what we want. We're all for it. I think you got to be excited, man. If you're not excited about that, I don't want you playing for Oklahoma. That's just how it goes.
I'm trying to think, what's the biggest like stadium or road game that you've played in?
Obviously, the Cotton Bowl, but that's not really an away game. But
what's that? That's 90,000, right?
It's easily Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska.
And what's it? It's right around 90, isn't it? High 80s.
I feel like that's not really like a hostile environment, though. You're not. If that makes any sense,
Yeah.
Well,
like
they weren't any good, so that's where
it's
just gonna be completely different, man.
But going in, I can't wait. Like going into Death Valley, like 7, probably it's gonna be a nighttime kickoff. It's gonna be, that's just something like that's what you dream of as a college football player. Like that's an opportunity that's once in a lifetime.
A lot of people ask me, like, what's your reaction to that schedule, right? And we don't know the exact order of it, but we got home and away, right? And my initial reaction was, and this sounds weird, but it was like, dude, I'm so jealous of you guys. That was my initial reaction. I was like, jealousy, because they get to be, it's going to be a historic season no matter how it goes for Oklahoma football. And the fact that you guys get to go and play in games like that. And I was fortunate enough to, go to Florida State and play there, go to Notre Dame, like playing some big ones on the road. But you're going to get to do it every damn year. And I was like, I'm so jealous of those guys.
Oh yeah, it's. I'm sorry for you, man. I really am.
I know.
But man, we're blessed to have that, man. It's gonna be a tremendous opportunity that I'm just really looking forward to.
Well, I mean, I never went 6 and 7, so don't feel that bad for me. Okay.
Ooh, too
Right.
At
soon.
least I ever
right.
won. At
That's
least I
cool.
ever won was 10.
Wow. Well, all right. Well, hey, I gotta take that.
So it's okay. No,
that I can
I'm
take those
just-
punches, man. Bring them. I'm
yeah,
ready.
no, I'm with. Okay, so we do
Hey,
this thing called.
hey, Gabe, you can live in the past all you want. I'm
Yeah,
here. I'm here in the present.
I'm with you. I'm with you. My playing days are over, brother. You got a lot more in front of you. So I
Whether you
live
know it or not,
vicariously
we're
through
here.
you.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. We're in the present with you, whether you know it or not. We're living through you.
You don't understand. Our emotional well-being is entirely too closely linked to your guys' performance on the field. It just is how it is.
Yeah, it's good though. It's fun, man. So, is that something you guys talk about? Like, what was the chatter between the guys after the season wrapped? And I know it was rough, man. Like, to go through everything that you went through like that calendar year was brutal, and it's got to be pretty freeing to have all of that behind you. But like, as you guys were going through it, what was the locker room like?
I mean, obviously, you don't. That's just a year that's a tough pill to swallow.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, the foundation was built. I think you can either just cry about it or you can just do something to change it. And I think after that, and that's just hard work that goes on something like that. That's the only way to fix it. You can't mope around and complain about it, because then you're going to be 6 and 7 again the next year. And so it just takes a lot of hard work to change that. We know what the culture is. We know what it takes. And so I think at the end of the day, we're hungry. It's just the fire's burning, man.
Love it. Now, we do this thing called Call Your Shot. People send us stuff in. We had them send in questions for you. We've got 3 of them lined up for you here.
Oh, wait. Can I grab my computer charger? I'm at 1%. I don't want to die.
Oh, no. Yes, hurry. Run. Let's see. Hey, Ted, this is where we see if all of this speed talk, he's been like, can he get it done, or is the interview over? If he doesn't get it done, I think this is where we have to let Schmitty know and reassess.
They're kind of working. He's moving quick.
He's moving quick. Now, he said an extra rep, right? 1% better every day.
Nice.
He made it. Look at the speed. Oh, yeah.
All right,
oh, yeah. Look at the speed. You have been working in the summer. Good job.
You like that?
Yeah. We've got 3 questions for you, Danny. This first one comes from JL Sooner 545, who says, what part of the game does he think he's improved on most for the upcoming season?
Getting off blocks, 100%. I think that's something that, as a young linebacker, it's really tough. You're facing those D linemen, those O linemen they're freaking huge, man. And I think stymie crossface, that might bring back some words for Teddy over there.
Yeah.
But that's something that we work every single day. Your position disadvantage. You got to know when to shoot your hands. You can't be behind the block. You got to defeat it, get across, crossface, get back downhill. And that's something, as a young linebacker, it's kind of tough to learn. Block destructions are probably one of the biggest, if not the most important part of a linebacker's game. And that's just something that you can never be too good at. And that's something that, I definitely think myself and other linebackers have worked on this entire summer, working on our punch, working on our first strike. That's really going to help us put us in a position of advantage from disadvantage.
Yeah, it's unnatural. You don't do it in high school at all, really.
No.
At least not against any 320 pounders. And I imagine getting healthy for you, elbow and shoulders probably helps a lot on that too.
Oh, for sure. I mean, you know how it is. You're never really fully healthy to the off season. You go pretty much into every game, kind of just, you make it through. But yeah, ready to go.
We'll get you back to the interview, but first,
John Vance Auto Group has been serving Oklahomans for 40 years. They're family owned and operated, and they got 9 full service dealerships in Woodward, Miami, and Guthrie. No matter what your vehicle needs are, John Vance Auto Group has you covered. They carry domestic brands such as Ford, Lincoln, Chevy, Buick, GMC, Chrysler, Dodge, Ram, Jeep, and Wagoneer. John Vance Auto Group's goal is to give unequaled service and to exceed customers' expectations in every way, which is why they have their lifetime loyalty program. And here's how it works. You buy a new or used car from them. All you have to do is get all of the manufacturer recommended maintenance done at the Vance dealership. And if something goes wrong with any of the components of your engine, transmission, drive, axle, or transfer unit, they will cover the repair costs. It's a great deal. And you can browse their entire inventory or find the John Vance dealership near you at vanceautogroup.com.
And First Fidelity Bank is a full-service financial institution based in Oklahoma with tailored solutions for all your personal and business needs, checking accounts, saving accounts, home loans, and much more. They do it all. Whether it's online banking from your computer or mobile banking from your phone, everything is stress-free with FFB. Making mobile deposits, paying bills online, and moving money to different accounts could not be easier. Make your life easier and go bank with First Fidelity Bank. Visit ffb.com for more information. All right, back to the interview. All right, this next one comes from Parcell24, who asked, would you rather get a sack, strip, fumble, touchdown, or a pick six? Ooh.
That one hits a little close to home. But I think a sack, strip, fumble for 6, that's
Most productive play in football.
absolutely. And then, it depends how hard I hit the quarterback. That could put him out of play or two, if I'm really trying. So I think that's definitely what I'd rather have.
I think that's the only answer. Also, if you get the sack and the strip and you recover the fumble and score a touch, we call that the old golden sombrero, gentlemen.
That's right. It's the most productive play you can have in the sport. It's excellent.
Absolutely. Especially, every game you get graded. So I'd love to see that little production sheet with all that right there.
Yeah, that's those production points right there, racking them up. Okay, this last one, and this is, I like this question a lot, comes from Corey Reedy. He asks, being a student athlete, juggling school, social life, workouts, film study, practice, off-field commitments, etc., what has been the most difficult thing for you to manage, and what has been the easiest?
And that is a tough question.
Well, and there's this thing now around college football where, with NIL and the portal, like this discussion, it's become about almost like the business of college football. Like, how much NIL money are these guys making? Clearly, we're talking about the performance on the field. Dude, I think a lot of people forget all the other shit you guys have to do.
Oh, yeah. Obviously it's hard being a student athlete, man. I think, I've read a 5-page paper on Sunday. I haven't started. Which is pretty tough. But obviously academics are tough. You got to find time to watch film. That's probably the most important thing you're doing. Every single game, every single week, you're having to learn a completely different team. And so if you're not in there, finding those extra times, because meeting with the coaches is just not enough. That's just how it is. You got to stay late after. You got to get there a little earlier, before lunch. So, I mean, that's probably the easiest part. You got to want to do that. That's a commitment right there. But hardest, I think, being a student athlete, man, try and find to go to class, because I think especially before, it's really easy to skip class. That's one thing as a high schooler coming into college, like you find out you can get into a really bad habit. Your grades can slip really quickly. And so I think, trying to learn to manage that and kind of just grow up and be an adult and know what you have to do and get it done.
They don't class check you guys anymore?
Oh, we do. Like they have spotter and stuff like that. But like, if you want to get away, like, they can't be in 120 places at once. But kids are going to find out ways to get around stuff. That's just the nature of it.
I was such a nerd. I didn't even have a class checker. They knew I was going. How pathetic is that, guys? Oh,
it's not as pathetic as me, who would get up, go park, go to class, walk through class, like make sure the class checker saw me, and then walk out the other door and leave and go back home. Like, you go through all of the trouble to get there and you don't even stay for it. That's really
was OU parking just as bad back in your day?
Like, yeah,
horrible.
It's horrible.
Just terrible. I think it's like, bro, I have to buy a parking pass. I have to be at the facility every day, and like they can't give me a parking pass. I have to spend $200 to park there.
Yeah.
Like,
just
it is what it is.
Get another NIL deal, man. You're killing it.
Baby.
It is what it is.
See if you can get an NIL deal with like the parking authority at the up there on campus. That'd be a good.
I remember talking to, I think, Rufus Alexander. He was saying like he gets so many tickets. He got them like a signed football by the team. Like on Christmas, gave it to like the parking administration to like they wouldn't tow his car or something like that.
That's what Rufus is for. All the good nuggets. Is it still a race to get that guest spot right there over by the indoor?
No, because you're getting a ticket as soon as you park there.
Yeah. Now they're logging all the license plates. It's a little computer thing now. So if you park there too many times, they know you're coming often. They know you're no longer a guest, Ted. Parking people are intense, man.
It's crazy. You know, they get your license plate, you know, then after a few times you get that tow warning. And then it's crazy. Like you'll see a dude like tow trucks here. Dudes are running to their cars to make sure they're not getting towed. Because it's happened a few times where they just like, man, you know, it's like coming after, you know how bad it would come after a horrible Schmitty workout. Can't wait to get in your bed, like, you know, take a nap before we got extra drills, and you walk outside and your car's just gone. Like, that's gotta be the worst feeling ever, man.
Some things change, some things stay the same, man.
Oh, Stutsman, you're the best, man. Stay healthy throughout camp, and you know, we'll be out there for a couple practices, see what you guys are looking like, and then can't wait for the season, man. It's almost here.
Thank you guys so much, man. Pleasure being on.
I'm a big Danny Stutsman fan, and I'm excited that he sounds so much more comfortable and so much more confident. But there's always a but, right? Now it's time to go prove it on the field, right? Clearly the excitement is there. Clearly the work is being put in, right? Clearly he feels more comfortable in the framework of the defense, Ted. But now it's about what you go do on Saturdays in the fall. That's how you and I were measured, and that's how Stutsman and this team, especially that defense, will be measured.
Yep, that's right. And you know, that's the other part of it too, is whenever you become a guy that's in the position that he's in, it's not just enough for you to go out and play well, right? You're responsible for the rest of the linebackers, the guys that line up around you. Like there's more to it, and the better you get, the more those responsibilities grow, and it looks like he's ready to embrace that and run with it.
Yeah, I'm fired up. The season's almost here. Let's go. On that note, episode 341 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Just a reminder, you can hear Teddy from 3 to 6 on 94.7 The Ref. You can hear me on SiriusXM Big 12 Radio, channel 375. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. And until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.